Last time on Kerbal Space Program with Nananki, we were introduced to my interplanetary ship and lander design. We went ahead and plotted a course for Duna, the Mars analog of the Kerbal system. We did a long burn to get there, but we turned out to have missed. Unfortunately, with our burn, our guidance was just not quite right, so we did another burn. That got us a little bit closer, and once we were in an interaction, then we narrowed that down further, but we decided to go ahead and aero brake to reduce our velocity. And I'll let myself say it.
10's more than I'm willing to chance.
Yeah, 10 ended up being exactly what I should have aimed for, and by only aiming for 19, I ended up way too high and went skipping off into oblivion and had to use a ton of fuel to slow down, and I decided to reduce my orbit further by just flying back through the atmosphere, and only the second pass brought me right into the planet. At which point I could not escape, and I didn't even notice my rate of descent picking up because I was still over 3 kilometers from the quote-unquote surface, but not the case at all. So, picking up where we left off.
Duna's atmosphere is so thin that it doesn't get really thick enough to stop you until below 20, but then it picks up, like, dramatically, so we'll see how this goes. 11. 11's gonna be good, I think. We're gonna go with 11. Alright. Pretty much does the trick then. Let's, first things first, let's get rid of this maneuver. Wow, that's really low, actually. 3,000 might be a bit too low. Just a hair. 10. Perfect. Perfect-ish. Wow, 0.2. Okay. Alright, time for the tiniest of burns in the history of ever. Oop, that's close enough, I guess. Where are we now? 10. Perfect. Okay, well, we'll see if it's perfect. Time to go zooming in. Hi, Ike. Bye, Ike. Whoa. And here comes our super, super close pass. Might as well leave the speed up until we actually get there. Pretty sure it'll kick us down by itself, yeah. 36 is when the atmosphere starts. Let's see how this goes, shall we? It's up to 11 now, eh? I don't know how that happened. Not gonna question it too much, though. Let's see how much we can slow down. Odd coloration here on this particular section of Duna. The poles seem somewhat elevated compared to the rest of the planet. I think 10 will still be sufficiently high up, though. 11, for that matter. Though it might be down to 10 by the time we get to it. Maybe not. We're dropping speed pretty quick, though. I'll definitely give it that. We are shedding speed pretty rapidly. We're getting tossed around a little bit by the atmosphere, but no problem. We're definitely not going to hit on this pass. That's good. And by the time we get out of the atmosphere here, I bet we have something that resembles a orbit. Because, God, we did a planet dive like crazy. I think the bouncing yellow line. We're going to have a crazy polar orbit at this rate. There we are. Will we escape this orbit now? Or, I mean, will we actually escape the atmosphere? I mean, we were moving so fast, I'd be stunned if we don't. And the atmosphere is so thin, for that matter. We had to practically crash into the planet to aero brake. But we did, and we saved tons of fuel doing it. I'm very happy about that. This is looking good. Alright, I'll wait till I'm out of the atmosphere to try to do any warping. I don't want anything crazy to happen. These colors, man, it's crazy. Not used to seeing red underneath my ship. This is a new sight for me. Even the reflected red is kind of on the ship. Very nice, very nice. No problem. Well, that worked out nicely, I must say. We need to get our periapsis out just a little bit, because 10 is kind of sort of too low. 30's fine. Oop, that's not what I wanted. I mean, really, it's not going to take much. 28, I mean, actually 30's not fine. What am I thinking? It needs to be out of the atmosphere. It's got to be above, at least like 55. 60's cool, honestly. 60's fine. Yeah, it's only a 21 meter a second application of delta V. That's not too bad. I love using technical terms, but we don't need to do it for 28 minutes, so we'll speed up time again. Looking pretty cool there, Duna. Looking pretty cool. Alright, there we are. That puts that at, yeah, just about 60. And that at 600. So it's a 10 to 1 ratio there. Eccentricity, 10 to 1 eccentricity. That's cool though. That's fine. We'll probably be able to pick that orbit back up. And you know what else? This gives us a chance to try to land at the intersection between the polar region and the non-polar region. Though, frankly, I'm not super concerned about where I land so much as if I land. And I've got, you know, a bunch of liquid fuel left. Let's go ahead and transfer fuel into the RCS for docking. Excellent. And it's still got a tiny bit left for itself. It's not much for this behemoth. But hopefully I'll bring most of this back up with me. Maybe. We'll see. And I kind of like where we're at right now, so guess what time it is? It's quick save time. Glad I discovered the quick save option. This is a game that benefits greatly from it. Especially when you're using trial and error to make your approaches. There is a certain loss of satisfaction when you screw up, but you know, I didn't even want to try to salvage that landing before. It was like, you know what, I screwed up. I'd like to just go back and redo that initial approach. Just bleed off the right amount of speed in the first try instead of making several additional passes and burning more fuel and wasting this entire stage. And yeah, I like this way better. That's what I'm getting at. Anyway, let's head up to the other side of the planet. Now seems like as good a time as any to go ahead and disengage from our main section. Main drive section. Undock. There we are. RCS on. Let's back this thing up a bit. There we go. Separation complete. Since they're going to stay in orbit, they have no reason to close this. Because the only reason to close it is aerodynamic benefit, but these guys do, so they'll close. I don't know, it looks kind of cool, doesn't it? But anyway, we're going to leave that open. We're going to leave them in orbit. And we're going to head down to the planet. I think all this staging is right. I should probably check that too. We're going to ignite the main 6. We're going to drop parachutes on the way down while still burning these. The only disconnecting we're going to be doing is on the way back up. Gotta have to bear that in mind. Which will be losing those outside 6, along with firing those retro rockets to help them peel away. And then, eventually, going to just the top stage. And then the final separation and splash down back on Kerbal, theoretically. Alright, well, this is the part where we start doing things by ear. Or by eye. Or by guesswork, however you prefer to put it. Let's just go ahead and start making an approach.
And we'll see what it turns into as we go. Oh, need to fire up the rockets, huh? Okay. It's the bottom stage, right? So that didn't seem to do anything. Tell me I didn't just deploy parachutes or something. Something terrifying. Oh, whoa, 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 jeez. Jeez, guy. Right, that's 6? Yeah, I see 6. Okay. Let's get spun around here to our counter burn. There we are. And brakes. There we go. This is not going to take much, to be honest. It might take more if we drift all over the place. Let's get this thing down, shall we? That should probably be sufficient. Right there, I bet. I'll be so in the atmosphere there will be no coming back. And I'll land somewhere, probably on around about here. Hopefully. Hopefully. I don't want to change my orbital inclination too much because I want to be able to match when I take off again. I want to be somewhere under it. I don't want to end up landing over here and then have to like take off and do crazy things. I want to just take off and match that as best I can by aiming at roughly 113 degrees, it seems like. It's going to be the magic angle to make everything special and happy. Yeah, see, I can't click the chutes. Well, let me try to slow down time here. Okay, they're not deployed yet because I have it as an option. So I don't know what the hell I clicked before, frankly. Hey, we're coming in now. Yep, cut my time warp down. Atmosphere encountered. Oh yeah, here we go. Coming down on Duna. Full 3-man crew with a full lander. Not too worried about the time warp being what it is, because we're still many minutes away from our periapsis, and I'm reasonably certain we're going to drag our apoapsis right into the planet doing this. About the same time this gets there, when we get to our periapsis of 19 or 18 or whatever it ends up at when we get to it, probably closer to 18 in a minute in-game time, being accelerated 4x. I think our apoapsis will about at the same time be impacting the planet. So just natural forces at this point will put us on the ground, though they won't put us on the ground in one piece. That, of course, will be up to us. The only question is where. At least we've got a nice long drag period in store here. Well, now that it's a mathematical certainty, let's get back to first person, or, you know, first ship perspective. Go to 1x for a moment, and debate, briefly, what to do. Because look at this, we're just like floating right now. We're not even, we're just slowing down in the atmosphere. Not really going up or down, frankly. It's an odd moment to catch things. Perfect state of equilibrium. But yeah, we might come down right on the edge. That might still be a thing that happens. I'm kind of counting on the atmospheric drag to bring us down to a slower speed than all this. I don't want to use much fuel in the landing if I can avoid it. I just wanted to let the atmosphere do most of the work for me. And once I got slow enough and low enough, deploy chutes. And then the main burn would be just at about 500 to 1,000 feet, I'm sorry, meters above the surface to prevent the chutes from tearing off when they full deploy. And we're dropping and slowing down, which is a good combination of things. The surface does not look particularly amazing. I see little white flecks
everywhere, so I assume those are rocks and not thousands of interesting things to visit, or seams of the planet, maybe. Maybe it's just lucky me and my graphics settings are just perfect to display some glitches. There's a nice big valley, perhaps carved by lava, or perhaps ancient water flows on Duna. If it shares a similar history as Mars, we're starting to make some informed guesses as to the likelihood of water having been responsible for many of the topographical features of Mars, and it seems pretty likely that that is the case. This has been the most leisurely planetary approach. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about the fact that we're headed for interesting features. Yeah, like I said, hopefully the atmosphere does most of this for us. The less we have to burn on the way down, the more we have for the way up. The oh so important way up. Hey, look, sunrise. The Martian Duna sunrise. Martian. Hey, here's that line between the ice and the non-ice. And canyons and valleys everywhere. I don't think we could have rigged it much better to spend as much time as possible experiencing atmospheric drag on the way in. Down to 7,000 meters, eh? Looks like the surface is getting pretty darn close, by my estimation. I think it's time to do something about all this velocity. I'm gonna look up a little bit more than all that as well. Not much though. We still want to keep the arrow moving backwards. I think that's the planet coming right at us, isn't it? I think that it is. Oh my god. Wow. That was interesting, huh? Woo! Sure. Why not? Oh good, here comes the ground. Quick note from the editing booth. If you are using parachutes for your descent, and you nullify your downward velocity through either rockets or hitting the ground, whatever the case may be, the parachutes will vanish. So if you intend to have them attached all the way to the ground, do not nullify your velocity 20 feet above it like I do in just a second. Oh, there's the ground. SAS on. Yeah, RCS on as well. No, 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 no. Why did SAS and RCS take me sideways? I don't understand. That's bull. Alright, that's quite low enough to do stuff and things. Let's see if I can't get this thing to slow down a little bit more than it is right now, yeah. There we go, like this. Let's give it a shot with the parachutes now. There we go, drogue chutes activated. Kind of drogy at this point. They'll open more when we get closer, frankly, but I should just let them slow me down for the time being. I have to try to guess when we're 500 meters above the actual surface. It's kind of tricky. Though, the last time they just opened without tearing apart, and we were going pretty darn fast, so I don't know. We might be okay. Let's get the lights and the gears down. Gears? There they are. And here comes the surface, kind of, I think. Yeah, it looks like the surface to me. Yeah. Going pretty darn fast right now. Oh, there's the opening. Okay. Excellent. Excellent, even. Alright, let's try to do this kind of like last time, only with less, you know, death and destruction. Okay, this will be slightly less than 10. That'll be good. That'll be good. The parachutes auto disappear at a certain point. And that's like the magic point where you have to, like, hit the button. Yes! Alright. Woohoo! On the surface of my Duna. Oh, wow. We landed in a very desolate area, didn't we? That's okay. The important thing is we are on the planet. And it's time to visit the surface. I realized this extendo ladder that reaches oh so far is actually the same weight as these individual sections. So that's actually kind of silly, because I could just put like 3 of these on there and save weight that way. But anyway, Bob Vey, you've been pretty happy most of the way, so you get to be the first one of my Kerbals ever to visit Duna on foot. Kerbal on another world, not just a moon. But yeah, you can see this thing is definitely built for stability. Alright. Yep, they run around kind of normal, it looks like, on this planet. They don't get to jump quite as high as... Well, they can jump pretty darn high, never mind. I was going to say as they do on Kerbal, but they do. Let's make that a little bit less of an impact. Ooh, kind of a thump. That's okay, he can still fly around a little bit. Another place I'd like to visit with a rover. I mean, I know there's space planes, but they're kind of fragile. So it's very easy to mess those things up. Yeah, see, I don't get to jump straight up forever on Duna. I fall down. Let's see how far straight up I can jump. Go, go, go! See, last time I assumed I was going to keep going up forever, because it felt that way. I guess if you don't change anything, you do go up forever. Once you start to drop, it seems like you're going to drop. I guess I could turn that around, but that's okay. We're going to still drop a ways. Just cushion our fall just a bit. He's like, ugh. That kind of hurt, guy. Kind of hurt. Mwah. Oh, I guess you can only do a little bit of other directions at a time and still go up. That's the main thing. Still pretty cool. Not as crazy as it is on Minmus, where you can gain a orbit with just your jetpack. Oop. Especially since I now know the buttons for up and down or shift and control. Had a little bit of a problem with my button assignments, it turned out, but I have those assigned now. Jump! Whee! Let's see if I can get him on top of one of these rockets. Oop, close. Oh, he's falling. Here, I'll just let him fall. There you go. How much you got left? 61? That's plenty. I should have jumped. Giving it a little bit of a head start. There. Here's the team. Fantastic. Anyway, I made it to Duna, and they're alive. And I'm gonna go ahead and clamp that once I get back in the ship. I actually can't do anything in the ship without people in it, can I? Let me try. Nope, can't. Isn't that wild? Well, also realistic, I suppose. Alright guys, you ready to get back in? Because, you know, there's not much to explore here. Take some soil samples, leave some scientific instruments behind, perhaps, invisible to the naked eye, as they are. Now I can shut that. Good. Very nice. I really can turn off the SAS. It's on the ground already. Let's see, where's the ladder on this thing? Alright, everybody aboard? Everybody's aboard. Now comes the hard part. I think this calls for another F5, quick save. And I think this also calls for a part 2, because I am ready to hit the sack, because it is quite late. By sack, I do not mean the boxing sack, or any other sacks you may be thinking of. I do in fact mean my pillow, and I mean going to sleep. So, thank you so much for watching. This was fun, and unexpected in the approach. It was just kind of out of control in a few ways. But thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. As always, like it if you liked it, and I will catch you next time. Peace.